So this shit is still unfolding, and honestly, I'm still processing everything, but I need to get this off my chest. Me, 33, and Jasmine, 31, have been together for 10 years. We met at this wilderness survival weekend course I signed up for after a bad breakup. She was the instructor's assistant, and we clicked immediately when she helped me after I sliced my hand trying to start a fire. We've been solid ever since, or so I thought. We were supposed to get married in 3 months. Everything was planned. Venue booked, invitations sent, her dress bought, my suit fitted. We'd been saving for this wedding for years, plus putting money toward a house. We had joint accounts, shared credit cards, the whole deal. Our families were close. We had the same friend group. Perfect fucking fairy tale, right? 2 Sundays ago, Jasmine comes home from her morning workout looking weirdly energetic. She's been training with this guy Wayne for about 6 months. Some CrossFit dude with tribal tattoos and a man bun. Whatever. I never thought anything of it. She sits me down and says we need to talk. She starts going on about how she's feeling anxious about the wedding, about settling down for good, and how she's never really had time to explore herself because we got together so young. She was 21, I was 23. I'm listening, thinking she's just having cold feet. Then she drops the bomb. She wants an open relationship summer before we get married. 3 months of freedom to get it out of her system before she's trapped with me forever. Her exact words. She said it would make our marriage stronger because she wouldn't have any regrets or wonder about what she missed. I just sat there for a minute. 10 years together? And this is what she thinks of our relationship? That it's a trap? That she needs to fuck other guys before committing? I asked if she already had someone in mind. She got all defensive. Said it wasn't about anyone specific, but her face told me everything. It was Wayne, obviously. Here's where I surprised her. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, I just nodded and said, "Okay, I understand. If that's what you need, we can work something out." The relief on her face was disgusting. She actually thought I was cool with it. I'm not some pushover, but I'm also not stupid. My dad's a retired lawyer, and he taught me to never react emotionally to a contract negotiation. And that's what this was. She was trying to renegotiate our relationship on her terms. The next morning, I called my dad, explained everything. He was pissed on my behalf, but also proud of how I handled it. We spent the day with his lawyer buddy drawing up a document. Basically, it stated that Jasmine could have her open summer, but if she contacted me in any way during this time, she'd owe me a $750K penalty, roughly our combined savings plus the value of the gifts from her parents. If she came back after summer and wanted to continue with the wedding, fine. If not, we'd split assets normally, but any contact from her side during the open period would trigger the penalty. She laughed when I showed her the contract that night, called me pathetic and controlling, said I was being ridiculous. I just shrugged and told her it was my condition for agreeing to her summer of freedom. If she wasn't planning to contact me anyway, what did it matter? She grabbed a pen, signed it without even reading it properly, and said, "Watch me sign your stupid paper, you insecure loser. I won't be contacting you anyway." Then she took a pic of herself signing it and posted it on her Instagram with some stupid free woman caption. The timestamp and her face in the photo were perfect evidence. My dad's buddy filed the paperwork that day. It was legit, notarized, everything. The next morning, Jasmine packed a suitcase while I was in the shower. When I came out, she was gone. No goodbye, nothing. Just a missing suitcase and her side of the closet half empty. An hour later, she posted on Facebook, "Finally dumped my controlling ex. I beats a here I come. Hash single life hash free at last." Tagged with Wayne and a bunch of party emojis. Her profile pic changed from us together to just her in a bikini. By evening, my phone was blowing up. Friends asking what happened, her family confused. I didn't respond to anyone, just forwarded screenshots of the contract and her social media post to my lawyer. Then, I blocked her on everything. Day 3, my old college roommate texts me screenshots from Wayne's Instagram. Jasmine in his bed, taking mirror selfies in her underwear. Caption, "Upgrade complete." I won't lie, that shit hurt, but it also confirmed everything I needed to know. Day 7, I get alerts from our joint credit card. She spent over $3,000 at some club called Pacha in Ibiza. Bottle service, VIP tables, my card, my money. I called the bank immediately, reported fraud, canceled everything, and started separating all our finances. I spent the next week in a fog, barely sleeping, just documenting everything, talking to lawyers, and trying not to completely lose my shit. My dad came over almost every day, helping me organize paperwork, bringing food, making sure I was okay. Day 14, Jasmine's mom calls me crying. Apparently, Jasmine told her family I was emotionally abusive and controlling, and that's why she left. Her mom didn't believe it. She'd known me for a decade, but Jasmine's sisters and some of our mutual friends were buying it. That's when I decided to stop playing defense. I sent the contract, screenshots, and bank statements to her parents. They were horrified. Her dad called me immediately, apologizing for what his daughter was doing, saying they had no idea who she'd become. The contract is solid. My lawyer confirms it. Now I'm just waiting for her to realize she's fucked up royally. She hasn't tried contacting me directly yet, but my friends say she's been asking about me, checking if I'm seeing anyone. Little does she know, I've been talking to her best friend Scarlett. We've always gotten along, and she reached out after seeing Jasmine's posts, saying she couldn't believe what was happening. We've met for coffee a few times, and honestly, it's been the only thing keeping me sane. Scarlett's telling me Jasmine's been this way for a while, jealous, entitled, always complaining about feeling held back by our relationship. Tomorrow, I'm changing the locks on our apartment. Next week, I'm filing to remove her name from the lease. The contract doesn't prevent me from contacting her, only the other way around, and I'm not planning to. Let her enjoy her summer of freedom. The bill's coming due. My dad thinks she'll panic soon when the money runs out and reality sets in. He says narcissists always come crawling back when their plans fall apart. I don't know if she will, but I do know I'll be ready either way. I just checked her Instagram again. More party pics, more Wayne, more living my best life bullshit. Fine by me. Every post is more evidence, and every day that passes makes me more certain I dodged a fucking bullet. This is just the beginning. I'll update when there's more to tell. Update 1. Wasn't expecting that much attention TBH. Things have escalated since then, and holy shit, you guys were right about it getting worse before it gets better. So it's been about 3 weeks since Jasmine left for Ibiza with Wayne. The Instagram posts have gotten more ridiculous by the day. Matching outfits, couple goals captions, and what looks like them getting matching tattoos. Every time I see one, I just forward it to my lawyer. At this point, I've basically got a digital museum of her bullshit. The financial damage is way worse than I initially thought. After canceling our shared credit card, I started going through our other accounts. Turns out she'd been moving money around for weeks before dropping the open relationship bomb. She transferred almost $15,000 from our joint savings to her personal account that I didn't even know existed. That money was for our honeymoon and first home deposit. When I called the bank, they said the transfers were authorized since her name was on the account too. Nothing they could do. My dad came over to help me sort through the financial mess and found even more shit. She'd taken out a personal loan using our joint tax returns as proof of income. $10,000 2 weeks before asking for her freedom summer. The timing makes it pretty obvious she was planning this whole thing. Dad was so pissed he knocked over a lamp, which was kind of funny considering he's usually super chill. Her parents came over last weekend. Completely different vibe from her mom's phone call. Her dad looked like he hadn't slept in days. They brought a box of my stuff that had been at their house. Old camping gear, Christmas gifts, photo albums. Felt weird, like they were already cutting ties. Her mom couldn't stop crying and kept saying she didn't understand what happened to her daughter. Her dad just sat there looking at the floor most of the time. But before leaving, he pulled me aside and said something about Jasmine always having these episodes where she blows up her life when things are going too well. Apparently, she did something similar in college, dropping out right before graduation to find herself in Thailand for 6 months. Would have been nice to know that 10 years ago. The most surprising development? Scarlett. We've gone from coffee meetups to actual dates. Wasn't planning on it happening, but there's definitely something there. She's been filling in a lot of blanks about Jasmine that I never knew. Apparently, Jasmine has been talking shit about our relationship to her friends for years, telling them I was boring, that she felt stuck, that she settled for me. Scarlett says she always thought it was just normal relationship venting until recently when it turned into straight-up lies. Last Friday, Scarlett and I went to this bar near my place. Wasn't trying to hide anything, but wasn't broadcasting it either. Some mutual friends saw us and must have told Jasmine because the next morning my phone blew up with texts from her friends calling me an asshole for moving on so fast. Rich coming from someone who's been posting bedroom selfies with her trainer for weeks. Scarlett showed me messages Jasmine sent her when she found out. Pure rage, calling her a backstabbing bitch and threatening to ruin her when she gets back. Scarlett blocked her everywhere, but Jasmine keeps making new accounts to harass her. It's fucking insane. Meanwhile, Jasmine's smear campaign is spreading. My cousin sent me screenshots of a private Instagram story where she's telling everyone I was financially controlling and isolated her from friends. Complete bullshit. She made more money than me for most of our relationship, and I was the one who encouraged her to keep in touch with her college friends when she wanted to drop them. The contract is holding, though. She hasn't directly contacted me yet, but she's getting close. My lawyer says she's testing the waters, seeing how far she can go without technically violating the terms. One of her friends messaged me asking on Jasmine's behalf if we could talk. I didn't respond, just forwarded it to my lawyer. 2 days ago, Jasmine posted that she and Wayne are taking their relationship to the next level, with a pic of them on some yacht. That same day, my dad's buddy who works at the bank told him Wayne took out a cash advance on his credit card for $5,000. The guy's bleeding money to keep up with her Ibiza lifestyle. Yesterday was when shit really hit the fan. I was at Scarlett's place when my phone starts blowing up with calls from unknown numbers. 47 different numbers in one day. I didn't answer any of them, just kept blocking. Some left voicemails that were clearly Jasmine. I could hear the club music in the background. I didn't listen to any messages fully, just enough to confirm it was her, then saved them as evidence. This morning, her younger sister showed up at my door unannounced. I didn't let her in, just talked through the doorway. She was all teary, saying Jasmine was in a bad place and needed to talk to me. I reminded her about the contract and said if Jasmine had legal concerns, she could contact my lawyer. She got pissed, called me heartless, said Jasmine was having a breakdown, not my problem anymore. The weirdest part? I'm starting to feel okay. Like I'm still angry, still hurt, but also relieved in a way. Like I dodged the world's most expensive bullet. Scarlett says Jasmine's always been like this, creating drama when things get too stable because she gets bored. She thrives on chaos. Makes sense, considering how we met. Her patching me up after I hurt myself. Maybe she needs people to be wounded so she can feel needed. Dad says the contract is solid, but Jasmine will probably challenge it when she gets back. He doesn't seem worried, though. Says people who sign contracts without reading them deserve what they get. I'm having dinner with Scarlett and my parents tomorrow night. Never thought I'd be introducing a new girlfriend to my family this soon, but here we are. Life's fucking wild sometimes. More updates coming when the shit inevitably hits the fan. According to my lawyer, Jasmine and Wayne are booked to return next week. Can't wait to see what happens when the Ibiza bubble pops and reality sets in. Update 2. Okay, so shit has officially hit the fan, and I'm typing this from my lawyer's office right now while we wait for some documents. Last update I mentioned Jasmine was scheduled to come back from Ibiza this week. Well, she came back early, without Wayne. The first sign something was off was when her social media went completely silent for 3 days. No posts, no stories, nothing. After weeks of constant updates, the sudden radio silence was weird. Scarlett thought maybe they were just taking a break from posting, but my gut told me something had changed. Then her mom texted me saying Jasmine had flown back home and was staying with them. Apparently, she and Wayne had some massive fight at their hotel. According to what she told her parents, he abandoned her in Ibiza after running out of money. But Scarlett's friend who follows Wayne saw him posting from a different hotel with some other girl, so who knows what actually happened. I didn't respond to her mom's text, just forwarded it to my lawyer. At this point, I've got a whole folder in my email just labeled contract evidence. The day after she got back, I was having lunch with Scarlett at this sandwich place near my office when my phone started blowing up again. Different numbers, but obviously Jasmine. One of the voicemails was just her crying. Another was her slurring something about how I ruined everything. Blocked all those numbers, too. That night, Jasmine started messaging Scarlett again. Not even trying to be subtle anymore, just straight up threatening her. Said she was going to destroy her for betraying her. Said she knew things about Scarlett that would ruin her life if they got out. Scarlett was pretty shaken up. She's known Jasmine since high school, and apparently Jasmine knows some personal stuff about Scarlett's family that she'd rather keep private. My dad suggested we file for a restraining order, but my lawyer advised against it. Said it might complicate the contract situation since it would require direct legal interaction with Jasmine. Instead, we kept documenting everything. The next morning, I woke up to an email from Jasmine's personal account. Subject line, "We need to talk now." I didn't even open it, just forwarded it to my lawyer. He confirmed it counts as attempted contact under the contract terms. Then came Wednesday, just a normal workday. I was in a meeting with my team when my assistant buzzed me saying there was a situation in the lobby. I excused myself, already having a pretty good idea what was happening. Sure enough, Jasmine was standing in the middle of the lobby, looking like absolute hell. Hair a mess, wearing sweatpants and a wrinkled t-shirt. Nothing like her usual put-together self. She was arguing with the receptionist, her voice getting louder by the second. The moment she saw me, she lunged forward, screaming about how I'd ruined her life and stolen her best friend. Everyone in the lobby just froze and stared. One of my coworkers was recording it on his phone, which later became helpful evidence. I didn't say a word, just signaled to security. 2 guards came over and tried to calmly escort her out. She lost it, started thrashing, knocked over a potted plant, tried to push past them to get to me. She was yelling that I manipulated her into signing that stupid contract and that I'd planned this whole thing. I just stood there watching her meltdown. Part of me felt bad for her, but mostly I just felt nothing. Like I was watching a stranger. 10 years together. And in that moment, I didn't even recognize her. Security finally got her outside, but she kept screaming from the sidewalk. My boss pulled me aside and asked what the hell was going on. I gave him the abbreviated version. He was surprisingly cool about it. Said he'd had an ex show up at his workplace once too. Told me to take the rest of the day off. I called my lawyer immediately. He was already on his way to my office. Apparently Jasmine had called him that morning, leaving multiple messages demanding to know how to get out of the contract. He said this was exactly what we needed. Clear, public violation of the terms, with witnesses. The next day, my lawyer arranged a meeting with Jasmine and her lawyer, some guy who looked fresh out of law school. We met at my lawyer's office. I brought my dad along for moral support, plus he knows the legal stuff better than I do. Jasmine looked completely different from the day before. Designer clothes, perfect makeup, hair done. Classic Jasmine, always performing. Her lawyer started off strong, arguing the contract was signed under duress and was unreasonable. My lawyer just sat there letting him talk. Then my lawyer pulled out his folder. Photos of Jasmine signing the contract while laughing. Screenshots of her social media posts, bragging about dumping me. Bank statements showing the transfers she made before leaving. Credit card statements showing her Ibiza spending. The videos from my office. The 47 phone calls. The emails. The texts to Scarlett. The look on her lawyer's face as he flipped through all this stuff was priceless. He kept glancing at Jasmine, who was getting more agitated by the minute. Finally, he asked for a break to speak with his client privately. When they came back, her lawyer had a completely different tone. He acknowledged the contract violation but proposed a settlement, significantly less than the $750,000 specified. My lawyer declined. The contract was clear. That's when Jasmine snapped again, stood up, and started screaming at me. Said I never loved her, that I'd trapped her, that I was punishing her for wanting freedom. Said I'd manipulated her best friend to hurt her. Said her parents had abandoned her because of me. Her lawyer tried to calm her down, but she shoved him away. She turned to me and said something that finally explained everything. You were never supposed to let me go. You were supposed to beg me to stay. That's what you always do. And that's when it clicked. This whole thing, the open relationship demand, the contract, all of it, she expected me to break down and plead with her not to leave. When I didn't. When I called her bluff instead, she had no idea what to do. She'd pushed and pushed for years, testing my limits. And when I finally stood firm, her whole game fell apart. Her lawyer managed to get her out of the room. My lawyer explained we'd be filing for the full penalty amount immediately and would be freezing her accounts pending legal resolution. Dad looked at me and said he'd never been more proud. That night, Scarlett came over with takeout. We were sitting on my couch when she finally told me everything. Turns out, Jasmine had been playing this same game throughout all her relationships, creating drama, threatening to leave, expecting to be chased. With me, she'd just taken it too far. Scarlett had witnessed it for years, but always stayed friends with her because Jasmine knew about Scarlett's brother's stint in rehab, information Scarlett didn't want getting out. This morning, the legal wheels started turning. My lawyer filed the paperwork to enforce the contract penalty. By afternoon, Jasmine's accounts were frozen pending the judgment. I thought that would be the end of it for today. Then, around 8 p.m., my phone exploded with notifications. 70 voice messages from a new number. I listened to just enough of the first one to hear Jasmine's hysterical voice. My accounts are frozen. I can't access anything. In another message, she was screaming that she was pregnant with my baby. Impossible. We hadn't been intimate for months before she left. And that I was abandoning my child. I'm back at my lawyer's office now, turning over the new evidence. He says with these additional violations, we might be able to add punitive damages. I'm not even thinking about the money anymore. I just want this to be over. Scarlett's been amazing through all this. Last night she admitted she'd always had feelings for me, but never acted on them out of loyalty to Jasmine. Ironic, considering how little loyalty Jasmine showed either of us. Tomorrow, we're meeting with the judge. I'll update once everything is finalized. At this point, I'm just waiting for this chapter of my life to close so I can start a new one. Final update. Hey Reddit, this is probably going to be my last update on this whole shit show. First, thanks for all the support and advice. Never expected this post to blow up like it did. So the court date finally happened yesterday. Been a complete whirlwind since my last update. The night before court, Jasmine tried one last desperate move. She showed up at my parents' house at like 11 p.m. My mom called me immediately, whispering that Jasmine was pounding on their door and screaming in their front yard. I told them not to open the door and called the cops. By the time I got there, Jasmine was sitting on their porch steps sobbing, while a police officer tried to calm her down. She looked terrible, still wearing the same clothes from days before, hair unwashed, makeup smeared. When she saw my car pull up, she jumped to her feet and started coming towards me. But the officer stepped between us. Turns out she'd been drinking. A lot. The officer said they weren't going to arrest her, but strongly suggested she go home with her parents, who they'd already called. I just stood by my car watching this woman I once thought I'd spend my life with completely fall apart. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel like victory. Just felt sad. Her dad showed up about 20 minutes later. The look he gave me wasn't angry, just exhausted and disappointed. He nodded at me once before helping Jasmine into his car. She was still crying, but quieter now, mumbling something about how I'd ruined everything, and it was just supposed to be a test. My dad came outside after they left and put his hand on my shoulder. We just stood there in the driveway for a minute. He didn't say anything, didn't need to. 10 years of my life gone, but at least I found out before the wedding. Court was scheduled for 9 a.m. My lawyer met me for coffee beforehand to go over everything one last time. He was confident but warned me judges can be unpredictable. The contract was solid, but if the judge felt it was too punitive, they might reduce the amount. I got to the courthouse a little early and sat in my car for a while just trying to calm my nerves. Scarlett texted me a good luck message with a photo of us from dinner the night before. That helped. Walking into that courtroom was surreal. Jasmine was already there with her lawyer and her parents. She'd cleaned up, wearing a conservative blue dress, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, classic Jasmine, always performing for the audience. Our lawyers presented their arguments. Her side tried to paint me as manipulative, claiming I'd trapped her into signing a predatory contract when she was emotional. They even tried to suggest that I'd been emotionally abusive throughout our relationship, which is why she needed freedom before committing to marriage. My lawyer methodically dismantled every claim. He presented the contract with her signature and the photo she'd posted herself signing it. He showed screenshots of her social media posts bragging about dumping me, the credit card statements showing how she'd spent my money in Ibiza, the 47 phone calls from different numbers, the videos of her meltdown at my office, the 70 voicemails, including the fake pregnancy claim. The judge wasn't particularly expressive, but I saw her eyebrows raise a couple times when reviewing the evidence. She asked both lawyers several questions, then called a 30-minute recess to review everything. Those were the longest 30 minutes of my life. Jasmine kept glancing over at me, but I avoided eye contact. Scarlett had wanted to come for support, but I thought it would just antagonize Jasmine further, so she waited at a coffee shop nearby. When the judge returned, she got straight to the point. The contract was valid. Jasmine had knowingly signed it. The evidence of multiple violations was overwhelming. The full penalty amount of $750,000 would be enforced. Jasmine burst into tears. Her lawyer whispered something to her, probably about appealing, but the judge wasn't finished. She addressed Jasmine directly, saying something about how actions have consequences and contracts aren't jokes. She also mentioned that the fake pregnancy claim could be considered fraud if I wanted to pursue additional charges. I didn't. As the judge finished speaking, I felt this weird sense of emptiness. This wasn't even about the money anymore. It was about holding someone accountable for once in their life. As we were leaving the courtroom, Jasmine's mom approached me in the hallway. She apologized again for her daughter's behavior and asked if we could talk privately. We stepped into an empty conference room where she broke down crying. She told me Jasmine had always been like this, creating chaos when things were stable. Said it started after Jasmine's older sister died when they were teenagers. Jasmine had been the perfect child until then, but afterward developed this pattern of sabotaging herself whenever life was going too well. They'd tried therapy, medication, everything. Nothing stuck because Jasmine never thought she had a problem. I listened, but honestly, it didn't change anything. 10 years together, and Jasmine had never once mentioned a dead sister. 10 years, and I'd never really known her at all. When I got back to my car, I called Scarlett and asked her to meet me at my place instead of the coffee shop. I needed some time alone to process everything. I was sitting on my balcony when my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. It was Wayne. He'd apparently gotten my number from one of our mutual friends. His message was short, just said he was sorry about everything and that Jasmine had told him we were completely broken up before Ibiza. Said she'd promised to pay for everything as a celebration of her freedom. When the money ran out, she'd freaked out on him, which is why he'd left her there. I didn't respond. Deleted the message. Not my problem anymore. Scarlett came over that evening with takeout and wine. We sat on my couch talking about everything and nothing. It felt normal in a way things hadn't in months. She understood why I needed space after court and didn't push me to talk about it until I was ready. Around midnight, my lawyer called with an update. Jasmine's lawyer had reached out about a payment plan since she obviously didn't have $750,000 liquid. I agreed to have them work out the details. I'm not trying to bankrupt her, I just wanted her to face consequences for once. This morning, I woke up to an email from Jasmine's dad. He'd attached documents showing he'd transferred $200,000 as the first payment toward the judgment. Said he and his wife would help Jasmine with the payments on the condition she start therapy. Also said they'd be selling her car and some property they'd been holding for her wedding gift to help cover the rest. An hour later, my phone rang, Jasmine calling from her parents' landline. Against my better judgment, I answered. She was crying again, but different this time, quieter. She admitted the open relationship idea had just been a test to see if I'd fight for her. Said she'd been doing this her whole life, pushing people away to see if they'd chase her. Said she never thought I'd actually let her go, let alone make her sign a contract. I listened without saying much. When she finished, I just told her I hoped she'd get the help she needed, but that we were done, permanently. Then I hung up and blocked the number. Scarlett moved in last week. It's probably too soon, but after everything that happened, life's too short to waste time. We're taking things slow otherwise. No rushing into engagement or anything. Just enjoying being together without drama, or tests or games. Yesterday, I got a letter from Jasmine. Actual paper mail, handwritten. It was 10 pages long, full of apologies and explanations about her sister's death and how it messed her up. Said she'd started therapy for real this time. Said she missed me every day. I read it once, then shredded it. The money from the judgment is going into a new house fund. Scarlett and I are looking at places further out of the city, somewhere with a yard for the dog we're talking about getting. I still think about Jasmine sometimes. 10 years is a long time to just forget. But I don't miss her. Don't miss the walking on eggshells. The emotional tests. The drama. Scarlett and I argue sometimes, but it's normal stuff. What movie to watch, whose turn it is to do dishes. No games, no tests. So that's it. The end of a 10-year relationship and the beginning of something better. Thanks for listening, Reddit. It helped more than you know.